All right. I'm Jessica Robbins, and I'm going to definitely talk a little bit about the idea of UX Plus. I'm a associate creative director and UX strategist for Saxum. We're an agency that serves consumers, businesses, as well as B2B. And I have a unique challenge when I work with B2B clients. I wanted to talk about an idea of taking our traditional UX process and kind of mixing it up a little bit. First, UX encompasses the basic definition of UX from Nielsen Norman Group. It really focuses on the end user's interaction with company, its services, and its products. What I'm finding is this definition is really limited and not very inclusive to a lot of what I do with clients, especially B2B. In fact, it's quite exclusive. For one, B2B clients, they don't work with individual personas. They're working with entire companies as people. So they're attracting another company. They're not attracting a single individual. So if you think of the individual UX process and basing all our UX decisions on a persona, we have to kind of switch that out. Instead of doing an individual persona, we have to think of it as a company, a business persona. Also, the client's business itself is a use case. When we talk about B2B UX, the business is a use case. The business will be using the product they're developing for consumers or other businesses. So when you change it up, you get this idea of UX Plus, which is an optimized UX process for B2B marketing. UX Plus takes everything that we do with regular UX, the persona modeling, except we're modeling businesses instead of individuals. It takes all the planning, it takes everything that you're used to, but it adds a new layer that encompasses all aspects of the business's interaction with its own product. Okay, so you have to not only think about your end users, but you also have to make the business you're working for part of that definition of an end user. So why kind of have a separate approach for B2B? I mean, is that really necessary? Can't we just use the same process? Well, B2B businesses have some universal qualities and therefore universal needs that I feel like can be addressed. And oftentimes when we work with businesses, they forget about their internal stakeholders. It's very natural to have an outward focus about who we're reaching, and a lot of them forget that they're using their own product. And the people that are using their product are much like them. So I think it's important to have a process that adapts to B2B so that we don't leave these things out. And on the screen are just a couple of the challenges that we work with when we're working with B2B on UX. UX Plus is about empowerment, alignment. So by empowerment, I'm thinking it's the traditional UX process. We're empowering users to accomplish goals, overcome barriers, be delighted, live a better life. And the plus is we're focusing on alignment. We're making the business part of the definition of the end user. B2B UX is about how one business aligns with the objectives of another business or other business units. And at its deepest level, it's how one business aligns internally to support the experience you're creating. So here we have traditional UX pyramid. Most people are familiar if you're a UXer. We go from something tactical and functional to something meaningful and delightful. That's the ultimate goal, is to create a better experience. We're still doing that in B2B. That's still very important, still very relevant. But what we aren't doing enough of is alignment. We're not taking the time to align business operations and understand the business landscape that we're creating the experience for. This is really important. It's about looking at those different layers, from the vision, which is a shared articulation of the target experience, to the surface, which is touch points like the website, the apps, which people interact with, the plumbing, which is the tech stack, platforms and systems, all the way down to the capability, which includes having the right people with the right skills in the right places, how changes are made, as discussed earlier, and the ways that the company works. The whole idea of UX Plus is this. When you think about your experience on this side, where is it going to fall apart on the other side? Why spend the time to make a beautiful experience that can't be sustained or supported by the business that you're working for? We had the opportunity to work with a great client called HSI Sensing here in Oklahoma City. They have national clientele and they are a tech business and they make sensors. To put it plainly, they have stuff on the International Space Station that depends on nanomillimeters of accuracy. They're right here in Oklahoma and they have an awesome tech offering. But they came to us with a lot of problems. They had broken and limited search on their site along with an outdated site. They had no brand differentiation. They had a confusing offering for their clients and customers. And they were a tech company without a tech interface. So we were lucky to be approached to rebrand them, but we were also able to do a discovery with them. And in that discovery, we took time to do a biz ops performance check. We took 30 minutes and discussed with the client these 4 lines. And what became very clear was some misalignments. Their vision was to be the catalyst that helps drive innovation in virtually any and every industry. But what became apparent was that their surface did not reflect that vision, i.e. the outdated website, old rebranding that didn't represent innovation, and their plumbing did not include the tech that matched the user or business needs. However, they had the capability and the subject matter expertise and the intellectual property to make that happen. So we focused on surface and plumbing. Along with an entire rebrand of this company, we rolled out a new website experience. And on that website was a product finder. Now, this is not revolutionary in the world. However, it is in this space. And what we did is we took something very complex and drilled it down into a product wizard that was highly visual. It had advanced search, totally customizable, scalable for the growth of the company, and it became a business development tool. Search visually by industry and type and keyword, over 100 different filters that lead up to that nanomillimeter accuracy, and filtering, responsivity, and no dead ends. All blank searches were directed to a custom solutions service, which generated additional new business for the client. Now, all of this was because of UX Plus, this idea. We took the time to take the problem with the search, evaluate the business landscape, and design something that elevated the experience and made it more effective. Now, competitors are catching up and copying this experience. So what are we doing now? We're going back to BizOps and UX to see what else we can do to innovate for that company. So UX Plus is an approach for identifying opportunities for both you as an entrepreneur, your business, and the businesses that you work for. It makes sense for B2B, but it can work anywhere. Some UXers do build this into their process, but in case you did not, it's worth a try. So, questions. That was a lot, I know. Who works oh, yeah, go ahead. Yes, their sales are 30%. Yes, 30% increase and a 22% increase in their rapid solutions, I believe, their custom solutions. So they're getting, it's increasing, and then just their SEO and their just overall experience has increased the sites. So a lot of things attribute that into including how people come to the site. So we can't include all of that, but it's been helpful. It hasn't been translated to dollars. It's only been out 7 months, 8 months. Yes, so the wrangling and the content in general of this process was a beast. So we had to have a governance plan to get all that. Luckily, they had a very up-to-date database and CRM tool, so that we're an ERM tool for us to integrate with. We just had to basically map out their products and their categories and make sure everything fit. Yep. Well, our discovery is actually 3 or 4 hours plus several weeks, going over BizOps in a very light way, without getting into like CX and customer experience. Mapping allows us to target try to see those things at a high level without having to be customer experience space. It allows us to red flag things for the client, say, hey, we can be successful if you fix this. It makes our product better. So it just takes 30 minutes. So we did qualitative through just a couple of their customers and their engineers. That was all we were able to do within our budget and our time frame. The results is anywhere from 20 to 30% improvement in versions and leads. So it's been really fantastic, and we're really excited. And it was really about going from UX to kind of a UX ops perspective. So thanks, guys.